quality. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is Wednesday, August
23rd.
I mean, school's soon open. I mean, this month is just blowing by. But it's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. Once again, this is CA Newry.
You couldn't afford a full August anyway.
Yeah?
No, not many people realize that they should not have booked. They shouldn't book for the whole month of August.
No?
They should just maybe have done 2 weeks in August.
2 weeks in this.
And then push straight through to September. Yeah.
And it's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. And once again, this is CA Newry, and I shall be your host for today as I have a discussion with Aaron Green. On the other side of the show, this show, we were discussing basically the digitalization of the dollar and whether it's legal or illegal. This side of the conversation, I want to talk about whose job is it anyway. That's going to be the theme of this conversation. Whose job is it anyway? And is there such a thing as minister of everything? I know last administration, we had a minister of everything with no portfolio at all, but could comment on everything, even though the commentary causes chaos. Again, we see that we are having a number of persons who want to be minister of every flipping thing. And I find that problematic. I want to know if it is problematic to you. Should we as Bahamians challenge back, push back, challenge them to say, no, you should not be commenting on this. And if you're going to comment on this, you need to give better information. The last show we mentioned my good MP, who's actually one of the better MPs in this administration, one of the better MPs we have seen in the Bahamian history, and I give him credit for that. He tries, even though there's some faults here and there, but you can push back, and he takes criticism. I wouldn't say well, but he takes criticism, right? He mentioned as his position, I assume, as chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, that he's uneasy about this digitalization and whether it's legal, right? Because the dollar is legal tender in the Bahamas. In the last show with Aaron Green, we mentioned that at the airport is something kind of iffy there, where they're forcing you to use apps and using third-party companies. And we want to know, is this legal in the Bahamas when the dollar is supposed to be legal tender? How can you force me not to use the Bahamian dollar?
And because we're talking to some lawyers.
Go ahead.
Let's tighten the question up a bit. Because at this point, I don't think it's a question of if it's legal. It's legal. It's a question.
It might not be legal.
It's a question of whether it's constitutional and whether the provisions or the legislation that enable this new policy are ultra-virus the Constitution.
Aaron, if it's against the Constitution, that means it's illegal.
No, pause. However, on the surface, that's how it appears.
Okay.
Legal principle. Every law that is passed is deemed to be constitutional until it is shown to not be constitutional. Now, what should be illegal is that it costs a minimum of $250,000 for judicial review to challenge the constitutionality of a law.
The Constitution belongs to the rich, not for the poor, because the poor cannot afford to challenge things to have the Constitution protect themselves. But let's continue with the conversation because I want to go back to Minister of Everything.
Okay.
Right? So, third-party businesses who controls government finances. Is that even legal? How can I be forced to pay a fee if I'm paying government?
And I'm already paying a tax. Why are you charging me a fee on a tax? And why is this model required, right? If there are other avenues available that cost no money, like the system you had, which is filling out a form.
I said that the parking lot at the airport, when you're passing through, you cannot pay tax. And if you do not have a debit card, you are then forced to park your car, go back inside, and go to a third-party business who charges you a fee.
Right, to get a mechanism to be able to pay cashes, and then they're not taking and you're telling me they're not taking the digital Bahamian dollar alternative or option that's available.
Even though that's through a third-party fee also. But because you got to go through these other places.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I have to top up. But my point is, you reminded us that last year the PLP revealed that a third-party business is holding the government's money hostage.
was authorized to collect revenue on behalf of the government, and then we were made aware in a very haphazard and I think unprofessional and reckless way that there is a conflict between the government and that third-party company about the government's ability to access the funds that the company collected on their behalf.
It was millions of dollars, and the company is holding the money in escrow. Is that the right word? No?
We
Or
don't-
safely?
But see, this is what I'm saying. We don't know. Not enough information. And to ask the question, did you reveal anything if you weren't going to tell us enough for us to be able to make sense of it?
And that leads into today's conversation.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. So
Go ahead.
a couple texts. The text here that says the app does have access to the contents on your phone beyond what is required to process for the processes they want. Why does it need to access them? Here's the next thing. It's one thing if you telling me that the government has an app and government agents may have access to information on my phone, A, that's required for the app, B, that's not required for the app. But now you're telling me it's a third-party mechanism. And you have not shown me evidence that you have created policy, regulations, and legal provisions to protect the consumer from this third party or to protect government and taxpayer dollars from any untoward or non-contractual behavior by said third party. It just is a vibe. And so I question not the legality of it, because every law is deemed to be legal until it's shown not to be, but the constitutionality of it. But I wonder if we have any constitutional lawyers.
Do we have constitutional lawyers?
I don't know. I mean, we may do, but they
Do
don't.
they challenge the law for the good of sake of the Bahamian people?
No, they don't challenge the government for this.
Anyway, but let's go back to the theme today. Who the minister of everything?
Right. You want
Oh,
to
we
take
have a
that
call?
call?
Okay, go ahead to the
Yeah,
caller.
yeah.
Then we go to the theme. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, just give me 60 more seconds because I have to go do something. Let me explain. What you said about the app having access, the problem with those apps, let's say you're traveling once a year. Once you give access to the apps have access all year round, continuously. Every time you update information, it also has the ability to pull your phone and continuously update the information. Mm-hmm. So there is some privacy concerns, which is part of our libertarian belief that Fred expressed. And we don't have those protections in fact, I say this again and again, we have laws that speaks to digital, but we have no digital laws in the Bahamas that addresses digital. Mm-hmm. But coming back to your Sand Dollar out in Newry, where you spoke of those third-party apps, right? They have a process in there that they don't explain to the customers because it's of no benefit to them. You can add Sand Dollars to those apps without cost. And when you go to the store, if you use the Sand Dollar app part of within the app, it costs you nothing to use. So they just become a pass-through. But the reason why they wouldn't promote that is because there's absolutely no fee to top up and no fee to use it, which the Sand Dollar, when it first was designed, was meant to be an actual representation of the dollar in your hand, not integrated into this process. Mm-hmm. And then when you talk about government monies being held, when anybody who's doing government for the apps and the collections of money, especially in the Sand Dollar aspect of it, should automatically be transferred, but which the law requires, to the consolidated fund account directly. And that can be programmed into the app and verified, where the government may pay them a fee, not per transaction, but a gateway fee to basically use the app. Here's again, you have individuals with no understanding of digitization, even though we talk about fintech and financial service and banking in the Bahamas and all of the different things, it's not reflected in our practice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
And see, Alan, I don't know if people understand. They have made an assessment of the environment, right? Like
Right.
I'm not a fintech person, but I have the comprehension ability to pick up things pretty quickly. But if I say to people, listen, I may not be the sharpest crayon in the box, but I could tell you that you are not doing a good job of explaining this. The people, they run hot on you.
Absolutely. So this is where you do. Look at one of your app on your phone, right? And when you look in there, you'll see your credit cards in one section. You'll see their whatever app name, their dollars that you may have converted into them, and then you'll see the Sand Dollar.
Absolutely.
If you use exclusively only the Sand Dollar, it becomes just an exclusive digital wallet, and they wouldn't have access to anything except handling the transaction, but they make no money from it.
I got you.
And so this is the problem that we have, is that we have this convoluted system where we're not trying to educate and integrate people honestly into the system. We have a family, friends, and lovers regime where everybody must make a little bit of something for something that nobody should be profiting from.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Thank you, C. Allen. And what it called to me, Newry, is that we need capacity building in the central bank. They need a unit whose job is to liaise with all the financial service providers to ensure that the central bank staff understand thoroughly, entirely, what this service is and how it works, so that the central bank can ensure that the public is aware of these services and how they're supposed to work, even if the service provider doesn't feel the need to tell their customers how their service actually works.
Good. Remember, we transition now.
Yeah, man.
Recently, the Prime Minister made commentary about abortion. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's appropriate that the Prime Minister gave his personal opinion on such. And of course, it's blazing through the news at this present time, right? The government has a legal arm, and that's called the Attorney General Office. And the Attorney General Office gives a legal legal opinion for the government. The Prime Minister made some contradictory type of commentary, which I still have no clue. At this present time, I do not know if abortion, because of the Prime Minister, of course, I do not know if abortion is illegal. I'm not even sure what abortion is anymore, right? And he opened up a can of worms, and I said, surely he's supposed to be advised as the leader of our country. Certain things you just don't comment on. But it's just not one of those. There's a number of things I find our Prime Minister continuously comment on as if he's the minister of everything, right? Recently, in regards to the collapse, not of the roof, but of the truss, right? The collapse of the truss, the Prime Minister gave commentary. And I said, no, that should have been between the Minister of Works or the Ministry of Education, but not the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister should have said, we have a minister in charge of that. Ask them. Mm-hmm. They in detail. I have a briefing on it. They have briefed me on it, but they can provide detailed information on this, right? And we see, again, the Prime Minister regarding this abortion issue, that he felt the need that he is the minister of everything and that he can comment on every and anything. And I'm concerned. And with that, I want to read that article. You have that right there, where the Prime Minister talk about abortion?
Today's Guardian. Bottom fold. The headline is PM offers contradictory views on abortion in cases of rape. Prime Minister Philip Davis provided contradictory responses when asked yesterday whether the government would consider changing the law on abortion to permit abortions in cases of rape, stating in one instance that the law is clear and abortion is illegal, and in the other instance telling reporters that it's a medical matter and a personal choice.
Is abortion a medical matter and a personal choice? And a personal choice, we understand medical matter, right? Right? If it's a person, life or death or issue.
I mean, that's not necessarily what medical matter means.
What do you mean?
It's a medical matter. It's you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor.
So does it have to be life or death? Just medical?
No, but I don't think that's what when he says it's a medical matter, I don't think he's saying that to get an abortion, it must be a life or death situation. I don't think that's what his use of the phrase is meant to convey. But, I mean, abortions is a medical thing. See, like, look here, in the referendum, right? They wanted to define sex as male or female only, and I made the point that no, you're supposed to define sex as biological assignment, right, or sexual orientation or something, but it's not male or female only. It's a medical matter. The term, right, what sex means, determined by science, determined by doctors. It's a medical matter. That's what I take from his commentary. But I also think that the two could exist at the same time. The three could exist at the same time, right? That abortion could be illegal, that abortion could be a medical matter, and that he could believe that abortion is a personal choice as well. All three of those things could exist in the same state. So don't let that confuse you. What concerns me is, why would the Prime Minister make that comment without taking the time to explain thoroughly and completely what he means and the implication of his statement for future policy or policy decision-making or activity in the House of Assembly?
Let's bypass all that. Is abortion legal in Bahamas or not?
Abortions are illegal. Anywhere.
So, okay,
Abortions are illegal everywhere.
Is it illegal? That's yes or no. And the next question will be,
The term abortion...
No, I want you to explain it. I just want to know if it's legal or illegal. I can actually explain later on.
Abortions are illegal.
Eager enough before.
Terminations are not...
I can let you explain that too afterwards. I want you fast forward it because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions to ask. Because I got asked with termination. If you explain it now, you did mess up the conversation.
Now listen, the last caller called me Robin, but I just want y'all to know that Robin is another woman who sound like me that send out political voice notes like she belonged to a war room.
Yes.
So I ain't that Robin.
No, you're a different Robin.
And I don't know if I want to be this Robin today, but I'm ready.
Let's go. One question, the next question, the next question. Is abortion legal?
No.
What is abortion?
Abortion is an illegal termination of a fetus or pregnancy.
Is the Prime Minister says that it's a matter of choice. In the context of the Bahamian law, abortion being illegal, is it a matter of choice?
Not abortion, but terminations are a matter of choice.
Actually put termination yet.
Abortion is not a matter of choice.
I am concerned with the Prime Minister's utterance if abortion is illegal. Now I can go on to this termination word. See how I go now? What is termination?
So termination is when you end the pregnancy in the time period that's authorized or accepted by the state.
So you're trying to say in the Bahamas, if I was a woman and I had a womb, because some people say this woman don't have no womb, but it has different political perception. Can I go and get a termination
So let me
legally?
say this. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, and I'm not the Prime Minister of the
You're an
Bahamas.
advocate.
Neither am I Kirk Cornish. Well, here's what I'm saying. Because he's the PM of Abaco. I just want to make that distinction.
I understand.
From my recollection, it's been a little while
Yeah.
now since we worked on this issue, but terminations are when you terminate the pregnancy, right? An abortion is when you terminate the pregnancy outside of the legal time frame.
So in your limited knowledge, see, I'm giving you the prefix.
Yeah, man, I don't mind that.
You are saying that in the Bahamas, a person can terminate a pregnancy if it does not go over this time
And
frame.
now, this is not proof, but what supports my supposition is that apparently you can access morning after pills, like Plan B pills, but you have to get it by prescription. So you have to see a doctor. If it were illegal, you wouldn't even be able to get that from a doctor.
Then I'll ask you this. Is there a morning after pill and a separate pill called the abortion pill? Just asking. I don't know.
I don't know. But if somebody was selling a pill or a substance to be used to abort pregnancies after the legally accepted time frame, they wouldn't call it an abortion pill. I mean, they just wouldn't call it that. I'm just saying, I don't think they would call it that. They'd call it something different.
Interesting. These things I want to know because I'm concerned that the Prime Minister put himself into a narrative that he need not be in. That the Attorney General should have spoken on and give the legal framework of what it is in the Bahamas. Instead of, and is he speaking as the Prime Minister of the Bahamas? Is he speaking as a personal MP into his personal opinion? Or is this the official opinion of the Bahamian government? See, I'm concerned now because of that. But I see we have a caller here. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear me?
Newry, 2 quick points here. the press secretariat is not protecting the prime minister.
You say the press
what you could
secretary
say
is
that-
not protecting the press office is not
Yeah,
protecting
the press office. The reporter's going to put anything to your mouth. They're going to put the mic to your mouth and ask any question. But you need to learn how to protect the prime minister, so the prime minister will say something out of order, then the press will go with it. And I think that was sort of order.
But hold on. How I want to ask you a question, man. How is the press secretary supposed to, using your language, protect the prime minister from himself?
Well, if you got to go back to that tape, the prime minister should be limited.
He should be limited.
Right, as much as possible. But you got to go back to the tape. But my second point is, I don't know if Newry, I don't know if you older than me. I think I older than you. Abortion is performed through DNC. You know what that is, Aaron?
I think so.
Right. Abortion is always from Margaret Hospital to DNC. Now the Christian faith and the brothers in the faith need to come up now, because they say they advise the government either they want abortion to destroy the human population, or they don't want it to please my God. God say you harm any little children, then you are in danger of fire. So what we want, that's what the Christian community need to do. Don't play a game
So,
with them.
Pumpkin Eater, you agree with Mario Moxie and the other pastor. You are paramount is the sanctity of life.
Of course, human rights.
So let me ask you a question.
Oh, no, don't get down.
Does the
I
principle,
answer your question, but human rights is-
Pumpkin Eater, does the sanctity of life stop after childbirth? Like this principle, this unwavering commitment to acknowledging the sanctity of life that God created, does it stop after childbirth? Does it stop immediately, like as soon as the child hits fresh air? We don't care about the conditions at the maternity ward. We don't care about the conditions in which many mothers have to take their newborns, and fathers have to take their newborns back to begin their lives. Do we care about the sanctity of life of the young children? Does saying that, sorry about that, Mr. Newry, I was just getting your attention. Does saying that a 7-year-old could consent to sex?
You can beat Wayne Monroe for that forever, hey.
I'm not going to beat him. I'm not beating him.
No? What you doing there?
The man offered us his finest words. And for a gift like that, I shall always remind the world what he shared with us. Where is this commitment to reverence for the sanctity of life after the child hits God's good fresh air? Where is it? Is it at the children's homes? Is it at the rehabilitation centers and centers for people with psychological and mental issues? Is it in the prisons, the hotel, the hospitals?
I understand. There's another report I want us to, what I caught my eye and I'm concerned, right? Because I find it's an oxymoron, right? It says, the headline, National News, PM, levels of violence against women remains unacceptable.
Yeah.
And the reason why I find that offensive, right? Because it hints that females are being targeted, that there's a need for a gender-based law in order to protect females, women. And we know that the government has concluded that there's no need for a gender law. So to come back to me after you have declared that there's no need for a gender law to protect women in particular is
Listen,
insulting.
Let me help you there. He didn't come back to you to tell you that.
Who you come back
He
to?
wasn't talking to you.
Who are you talking to?
He was talking to the foreign people
The
who came
foreign-
for the 13th Triennial Ministers of Women's Affairs meeting. That's who he was talking to, not to us.
We know the former press secretary said that our prime minister is speak with two tongue. I wouldn't know everybody say that.
Two-tone.
Two-tone. I just going to say, what exactly did he say? That he speak one way for the foreigners and one way for the local people. And then when I see this headline,
PM, levels of violence against women remains unacceptable.
surely that is two different tones. And this is where the women's group should be up in arms and said no. Let me say this. I went to a high school, where it was brazen. All the students who go into the school just brazen. I have known for walking out on my principal. I have known for protesting, getting threatened and say no one graduating. You can see clearly no one went to that high school to let the prime minister come and speak out. I would have walked out on him.
Mr. Newry,
I would have walked out on the prime minister and let the world know my prime minister talk fool.
If I had gotten an invitation to the meeting, if I had, in the most politest of ways.
I was going to do it with noise. This is going to be the polite.
Yeah, but that's because, I'm a woman and they'll crucify you just for being a woman. I got to step carefully. But the point I'm making is that I didn't get an invite to the meeting. My mother apparently only got an invite to the meeting in passing at another event, the event where he spoke, right? And I wondered to myself, did you not tell her so that she don't tell me? But that ain't that important. The point is, you could imagine you have an agenda meeting. You got all of these ministers here. You have some of the world's leading gender rights advocates, right? Including LGBTI rights advocates. You got all of these people in the room. All of these people in the room. And you wouldn't give me a chance to just stand there and smile and shake your hand and be polite and then come on the radio the next day and tell them
you won't get
what I
invited
heard.
in that no more, Aaron. You just cause too much problems.
No.
My point is, how is it that the prime minister is able to say this and none of the women's rights group who are complaining about this new law, this new act, right, is not up in arms and say, no, you can't say it no more.
No, some of the women's rights groups are.
Which one?
Equality Bahamas.
Which paper?
In the Tribune today? On my show on Monday.
Gone by? Anyway, go ahead. Because I just shake my head, man. I don't understand you all women.
But listen, I'm going to say this. Alicia Wallace from Equality Bahamas was on my show on Monday via Zoom because she was not in country. I was made aware that the invitation that she got for the event was so late that it would have been impossible for her to even get here to attend the event. But that's an aside, Mr. Newry. The point is that I wonder how they're going to explain this. How are you going to explain it?
They haven't explained nothing to you.
Not to me.
Not to women, they don't really.
No, not to women.
So who do they explain to?
How are you going to explain it to CEDAW?
Don't worry about the CEDAW. They used to us filibustering.
And the UN?
They used to us.
You put a whole section in the Protection Against Violence bill indicating that you intend to codify the treaty obligations. You didn't specify which treaties.
They said that this law is going to protect all genders, not specifically women.
And let's make a point here, right? Let's make a point here. A gender-based violence bill intends to protect people from gender-based violence. While women experience the preponderance of violence, while women are the vast majority of victims are women, men also experience gender-based violence. So there was no need to change the name to offer protection to men. Gender-based violence is not specifically about women. It's about addressing violence meted out because you don't align to the gender norms.
Aaron.
It also engages
Aaron.
men as victims.
Aaron, after Green, is there a KC behind your name? Is there a KC behind your name?
Yes. The king is my cousin.
The king is your cousin.
And as long as I pay in these good kingly taxes.
That good German has a KC. He knows law.
You have a case.
He knows the law and he knows why he did not include it.
You also know why he tell us the trust collapsed.
Yes, he knows that.
I mean, I hope he knows that the trust collapsed.
What time it is? No, we still have time before. Let's go
fact,
let's take a break right now. Let me read this and we'll take a break.
And we got some text.
We have some text. So I want to read this before we go. Says, Freeport, the Sand Dollar team is on its way. Experience the digital Bahamian dollar at Sawyer's Fresh Market, Oak Street, on Friday, August 25th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and at the Raven Mall at Saturday, August 26th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come out and learn more about Central Bank's digital currency and Sandal top-up on us. Sandal is on the move. We will be right back at the Guardian AM on the clock, Mashup Wednesday, Man Down, as we continue to analyze the news, as we continue to have a discussion on Minister of Everything. When you believe that you have to speak on everything, but you ain't saying nothing, something is wrong. Let's correct that. We'll be right back.
Girl, you see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she say she bump into a wall when she's running after the churn them.
Yeah, but last Saturday, you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
What you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman, does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't want to line up in the cemetery.
Not me. I ain't getting in nobody business, then Jack come after me, and I land up next to Cora.
No, man, we could call a text Crime Stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll-free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app and we could text them. And the messages get all mix up before it leave your phone so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
Grab your camera, capture the spirit of the Bahamas, and win cash and prizes. Scotiabank, in partnership with the Guardian Media Group, invites all youth, amateur, and professional photographers to enter the Celebrate Bahamas 50 photography competition, being held under the theme One Nation, One Legacy, Our Future. With more than $8,000 in cash to be won, snap those photos and send them in by August 30th. Visit GuardianTalkRadio.com or bs.scotiabank.com to find out how to enter. Let's celebrate our proud nation in photos. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, school bag, books, pencils, uniform. Oh, Lord. And I gotta buy snacks, too?
The Guardian Media Group and AML Foods want to help families in need with our first ever Back to School Snackathon. What's a snackathon? Well, we want to help by assisting in donating school snacks to children that may need them as they head back to school this year. To be a part of our snackathon, all you have to do is shop at your favorite Solomon Superstore or Fresh Market. At the store, you can donate your pre-existing loyalty points or you can donate cash directly at the register. Every single penny will go towards purchasing snacks that will be donated for distribution by the Bahamas Feeding Network and Hands for Hunger. Together, we can ensure that every child that opens their backpack this year will have a snack and a smile.
Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. Buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Want to reach your Grand Bahama customers? Then call Barefoot Marketing at 827-4578 or message them for ad rates via their Facebook page. Advertising opportunities now include classified ads too. Keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news in the Nassau Guardian newspaper every Tuesday.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM as we have a Man Down Mashup Wednesday. We're here with Erin Green, who's the host of On the Clock. What's the full name of your station, your program? On the Clock with Erin Green? What is it?
It's On the Clock with Erin Green.
Yeah? But how come it's not Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newry? It's just Guardian Radio AM.
It's Guardian, isn't it Guardian Radio? I say Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newry.
You just add my name because you like me.
No, I add because that's what should be done.
Yeah?
I hope so. I hope so.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying. On the Clock with Aaron Green and Guided Radio AM and CA Newry, as we have a mash-up show where we mix the both shows together and we analyze the news. I see we have a caller online, so we'll connect that caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning again. This CA Newry, why you did it? I thought the world had stopped because when you see On the Clock with Aaron Green, I thought they stopped the clock. But when I look, I see it's 20 to 12, right?
Yeah.
But I just want to get this, and this is a selfish call here. You know, I was talking about the children, the sanctity of life, right? So, Aaron, maybe we could get somebody to initiate a law in which parents are not allowed to discharge their children from the hospital. A young male child died this morning. Mm-hmm. His mom woke up and went to the neighbor and said he's dead. But I trying to get her to call, you know what I mean? But she had him to the hospital on Sunday, right? You know, this is a small knitted community. So she had him to the hospital on Sunday. And she's very ignorant. I wouldn't like to say anything else, prejudice, whatever, because I don't know if she's the police. She would have to give details. But the thing is, she had got in an argument with the doctors and said, they running too much tests, et cetera, et cetera. But whatever. But they gave her a paper in which she signed to discharge the child. You know, that's what they do, right? Yeah. They have parental rights to discharge the child. But I was hoping that the doctors should have showed some form of prudency and just run the blood test or do what they had to do before they allowed the mother to do that. So she woke up this morning and the child is dead. I know the young child because she's always up and down with him. But I wouldn't like to say too much because you know I don't know what the legal ramifications are. Yeah. But it's very sad knowing that I know him and I know the situation what he's in with his mom. So this is what I'm saying. So it's all about life. You know what I mean? So somebody who's hearing my voice could actually allow this because obviously if you're ignorant and the doctor is telling you what they need to do, and according to the test, you should know significant they are. So to being a parent, for you to say they want to discharge your child and carry him home and then he died subsequently, like a day or two later, but it really, something has to be done. So I don't know if social services or whoever is involved, but it's really not a good moment right now. You understand what I'm saying, Aaron?
Yes. A family.
So that's what I wanted to share. But as it relates to the other program, Aaron, maybe you should, I don't know, C. Allen is very enlightened, but he had brought up the social credit score status, right?
Yeah.
Juxtaposing it with the digital totalized captures paradigm. And the text was very, very contemptuous of Bahamian people. We like change. But the thing is about change, Aaron. Let's be aware and conscious of what the changes mean. Mm-hmm. I heard you mention something. What about a cyber 9/11 attack? What about the shutdown of the grid? This is the gentleman called. This is all about depriving the poor and the elderly. Anyhow, bless her.
Absolutely. These things in and of themselves are great, but if they emanate from bigoted, prejudiced systems or cultures, right, then they become horrible. Something that's supposed to provide equitable access ends up marginalizing and preventing access from those who need access most. And that's what has begun to happen with most of our systems. Those who need it most, those who the system was designed to support and to help, have the greatest difficulty accessing services. And then the people working in those spaces begin to say things like, they don't want it anyway. Why I trying to convince them about this? Well, you first of all have to acknowledge that you didn't try anything. You didn't take on the full responsibility of your position. You didn't really do it. You're just pretending, right? The PMH thing is a particular thing because every day I question what I am going to do if I have a catastrophic medical event. And would it just be easier to die in the bush? These are things that Bahamians are asking themselves constantly. Mr. Newry.
Yeah. But I want to also discuss the opposition and their concern, but not necessarily the opposition, because I wanted to discuss it from a constituent point of view. Should we be concerned about the contracts being issued out based on what has been said in the media happening with the school contract? One, we found out that apparently there are contracts that are being issued out without haven't been reduced to a written form. Should Bahamians be concerned about that? Go ahead.
Pause. Why you even say it like that, Mr.
That's what the
Newry?
Prime Minister used.
Why?
That's the words the Prime Minister used. I'm trying to sound learned.
Listen.
That's Casey words.
Because that suggests that the contract existed, just wasn't put in writing. What we're questioning is whether a contract actually existed, whether the things that are required to constitute a contract at that level occurred, whether they exist. We don't even know, nor has it been verified, that an actual contract existed, whether the elements required was satisfied, whether the terms was satisfied, whether the process occurred in the right way. To use that language solidifies the narrative that we cannot say is true yet.
So you're saying that because it hasn't been reduced to writing, there aren't any checks and balances to say that you live up to the responsibility or agreed.
Well, here's what it is. We presume,
agreed, yeah.
we presume the amount, the cost of the contract, right? We're presuming that, but we know that there are regulations in place that govern the awarding of contracts, right? If it's above 50,000, there's a particular procedure. If it's up to 250,000 or above 250,000, there's a particular procedure. And the question is, was the agreement in waiting, right? Was the proposed agreement such that it warranted not just a written contract, but approval from particular boards and agencies?
So long story short, should we be concerned as Bahamian people?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that there are particular rules in terms of what should be rendered to cabinet, what should be rendered to the board,
The board.
tenders board, right? And we found out that it didn't go to the tenders board, nor did it go to cabinet, but a oral contract was given. And again, the question is, should we be concerned about what is happening regarding contracts?
Yes.
And I put that juxtaposed to the idea that recently the Prime Minister had gone in on the defensive to defend a contractor who did work for both the PLP and the FNM, and said that he is a good contractor, right? Says that he's done work for both governments. But this contractor apparently, I'm just saying, apparently does not have a contract, but is apparently, right? Apparently building something for the government.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be concerned?
Yes. We should also be concerned because we need clarity around what self-insured means. Does self-insured mean I keep a large number of money in a personal bank account or business bank account that acts as a catastrophic fund, right? Or does it mean that my company has professional insurance? So I have insurance as a professional contractor, and any job that I do is covered primarily by my company's insurance policy. And then when the contract is finalized, there is a subsequent secondary or additional policy that also protects the project. And that the Prime Minister didn't feel the need to share that with us in his commentary is also concerning. There's been a whole 2 days and we haven't had a formal press statement from the Prime Minister himself, the OPM, the press secretary, the press office. Nothing.
There are a number of things that were still pending before the House of Assembly dissolved, or whatever. What do you call it? Dissolved is the right word? Prorogued.
Not dissolved, prorogued.
Prorogued, right? Thanks very much, because it's different. Yeah. A number of questions that was still pending to the point where Bahamians were the government sounded the alarm, said this is urgent, saying that this is a matter of national security. Example of that, right, would be the issue with the NGOs in terms of the money that was used.
The food
network program. And then the issue again with the third party holding the money, and I use my word, hostage, and not allowing the government to get access to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's been months. I mean, months of silence. Because we have short memories. After one more big scandal come about, we just forget and say, man, don't worry, the government will handle it. But should we be concerned that there's no conversation, no conclusion, right? I'm still waiting on the issue about the oil spill in Andros. I'm not sure if you remember that there was an oil spill in Andros a couple of months ago.
2019? Oh, wait, no, there's the 2022 one. And then in reading about the 2022 oil spill, we realized that apparently there was a earlier oil spill that also had not been addressed in 2019. We don't have a report on the fire that burned down the entire fire station in North Andros, like all of it in North Andros. We haven't had a report on that yet either.
And the refrain again is, should we be concerned?
Yes.
It should be concerned because and then we have a new oil spill again. And I said, but who paid for the last one, the cleanup of the last one? Because remember, that was concerned. I said, don't worry, we'll make sure these people pay to clean it up. And then there was just silence. Just silence.
And we got a whole press office. I mean, you've invested all of this money in a press machinery, but what is it for? Is it to maintain constant engagement with the Bahamian public to ensure that you could maintain the trust that you have managed to eke out? And that most of us hold in our heart, not for you, but for the office? Like, what is the purpose of the press office and all of your press staff if you're not using them to press upon us all of this important information? I got a couple of texts here, Mr. Newry.
Go ahead, let's go to your text.
This is abortion text. Another one. Good morning. The people are on vacation, man. You think they're on your run, eh? Well, that concerned me about this school thing as well. Anyway, I'm still waiting. This is another thing we're waiting on, Mr. Newry. We're waiting for the Prime Minister to tell us why he prorogued the House. Remember, the AG said, you could speculate, but the Prime Minister will address it. And somebody said this week, which was last week.
I was expecting it to when he come back from the prorogement that he's going to address it then. I didn't expect it no time soon.
No, somebody that was in Parliament Square on that Saturday morning
was it Attorney
said
General?
This week coming.
Was it the Attorney General?
Yes, he was already on vacation, but I think it was him.
Yeah.
I think it was him. And so we
You
still
don't want to speculate anymore?
I don't need to speculate anymore. And I think that's even more troubling than have to speculate. Mr. Newry, I ain't got no more text to read. I need you to say something before I say something. But you know what? The Prime Minister hasn't even confirmed whether there will be a cabinet shuffle or if we're going to continue to experience
That was
the minister
just
muffled.
spin. I think that was the opposition spinning to try pressure the government. There's no cabinet minister that exists right now that the Prime Minister is not pleased with. All of the cabinet.
Pause. So we could shuffle the Prime Minister, which is legally possible.
I mean, from Minister of Finance, you're not pleased with the Prime Minister being Minister of Finance?
From
what?
Prime Minister.
You will move my good Prime.
What did you say? What did you say? You said that it appears as if the Prime Minister doesn't see, and in fact, you implied that he was pleased with their performance.
Yes.
And my response is, well, maybe we need to shuffle him.
No, man. No, the Prime Minister doing a good job.
Whose performance is he pleased with? You give me a name and let's talk about it.
Okay, woman. I think he's pleased with Keith Bell. He did one or two unorthodox things, but in a grand overview, he's pleased. He's doing a good job.
Okay.
I believe he's pleased with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. My MP's doing a good job in Foxhill.
Okay, that's a good one. He's pleased with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Is he pleased with the MP for Foxhill and the chairman of the PLP party, though, which are distinct from the minister responsible for foreign affairs? That's the question I have for you. Is he pleased with the chairman of the party?
The chairman doing a good job. Every week you get a WhatsApp. Every week the chairman sends out a WhatsApp message.
Which weeks do the WhatsApp messages contradicting the government's position on digital financial services?
The chairman serves a different duty than the government. The chairman protects or manages the party.
What is the party's position?
May be different from the government itself.
How could that be, sir?
One is the party and one is the government.
How could that be?
There's a party machinery.
One leader.
No. The chairman represents the party.
Brave.
And as the party said that some of these digital things is kind of odd. right? And anyone who's watching could say, yes, I agree with you.
Can the Prime
Chairman.
Minister of the Bahamas fire a party member for contradicting his official position as the Prime Minister?
God, no, the PLP has an executive board.
So he's not the Prime Minister of everything.
He's only Prime Minister of Cabinet and the
And
laws
the country.
yeah, but
and
not
the, and the
not
whole
party.
Bahamas.
Not the party.
But not the party.
Not the party. The
So
party
who's the Prime Minister of the PLP party?
That's the chairman.
Say that. What's his name?
The chairman, Fred Mitchell, is in control of the party.
You're saying Fred Mitchell is the PM of the PLP.
No, of the PLP party. The
He's chairman of the PLP.
Party. Yes, the party.
Well, what else is there?
So you try to just mix up my words.
No, I just saying.
You evil.
Cornish.
No, he's the chairman of Abaco. But don't worry, we can deal with him soon. That's what the
Yeah.
shuffle about. No, you think that's what the shuffle about?
You don't even think there could be a shuffle. They already shuffled.
I believe there be no shuffle.
But I think a shuffle is warranted.
Let's see.
And we don't even have to look at scandals. We could just look at poor performance.
Who doing poor performance? Okay, that Minister of Works, you're trying to say, hey, I can let you slide with that. Something needed to be done because the potholes
And the
bad.
Minister of Health.
But the Minister of give some good speeches. I mean, every week he announced the same thing again and again and again, and think of being watching.
I mean, that's because, a doctor healed my foot when I broke it with a good speech.
Yeah.
It's all it took, a good speech and 2 Tylenol.
Well, that's the talk, the word, the spoken word can do wonders. Let's go to this caller quickly. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear me? Go ahead, caller. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. I'm actually calling about the canaps that I won yesterday.
Oh, yes,
okay.
ma'am. I forget. That's my bad. I got you. I got to get you a fresh.
You mean to drop that off?
I got to get a fresh batch of Canap, ma'am. Something happened to that batch.
Okay, so
Evaporated.
Tomorrow. I mean, maybe even today. I got to go get the Canap today. But I mean, if I tell you, ma'am, that somehow
You have her
magically
number?
they evaporated in my mouth, would you believe me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad you believe me.
You have the lady's number, right?
Yes, I do have your number. I will say on air that my producer, Kermit, gave me the number. Ma'am, I don't want you to think he was slunking. 565, right?
No.
Same thing. So that's good that you have to give the producer the number again. And we may
Hold
have to
on.
add to this list of things to give you.
328, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, different numbers?
Yeah, I got it in the phone. I don't want to call the whole number.
No,
Yeah,
328. Yeah, okay.
I got you, ma'am.
Okay.
I can see you in the hallway, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good stuff. I can call you.
I
You think you get one on me?
No.
I almost get pinched. I would rather the Prime
You ate
Minister.
the woman Ganep. That's what happened. You ate the
I
woman
would
Ganep.
rather the
And it was so much.
I would rather the Prime Minister penalize me and fire me from his country, than have that woman be upset at me or pinch me for eating all them
So
Ganep.
what happened to the woman Ganep?
I'm just saying that they evaporated in the intense heat, Mr. Newry.
I can believe that.
And I don't understand why the Prime Minister, while he was in charge of CARICOM, didn't write a letter to God and say, sir,
I'm
we
just glad a
cannot
lady
take it."
called in because it's going to be mysteriously forgotten, like how the Prime Minister forgot all these other things that he was to be addressing, right? So I'm glad you called in and remind Miss Green, I win the Ganep fair and square. Make sure my Ganep be available, please. So I appreciate you calling. This has been another Mashup Wednesday with Aaron Green. This is C.A. Newry. Have a beautiful day.